The sun rises on Crystal River as gently as its most cherished residents glide in it. The manatee, first thought to be mermaids by the crew of Christopher Columbus, this gentle giant has been the center of lore and mysticism.
There's this mermaid myth that's associated with manatees wherever you go. And, I have a daughter who's 7 years old who's absolutely, intrigued with mermaids, and she's fascinated by the fact that, quote-unquote, her daddy studies mermaids.
It has also been the center of political controversy. Marine biologist Dr. James Buddy Powell is one of the key players in the effort to protect Florida's manatees. It was his work more than 30 years ago that prompted the Save the Manatee political project.
Oh, it was very tough. I mean, I had people, threaten me with bodily harm, and I remember after one public forum we had, they slashed the tires of my government truck.
Manatees swim Florida waters year-round, but are extremely sensitive to the cold. And when water temperatures drop in late autumn, these mammals instinctively migrate to warmer inland waters like Crystal River. To hundreds of them, Crystal River is like being home for the holidays. Crystal River is spring-fed, and it indeed bears out its name. It is crystal clear. It maintains a temperature of about 70 to 72 degrees. The river itself is also shallow, somewhere between 10 to 15 feet in depth. Therefore, when we enter the water, we're going to enter it very gently. Rather than just diving off the boat like we typically do, we're going to stealth enter it. In other words, we're going to slide off the boat and into the water so we won't stir up the silt in the bottom. Genetically, the manatee is closely linked to the elephant. They feed on vegetation and are very protective of their calves. The manatee is threatened by only one predator: humans.
Here's an animal that suffers so much at the hands of man. They were hunted, they were harpooned, and now they suffer the consequences of collisions with motorboats. Yet, this is an animal that will very often seek out the attention of people.
These gentle giants can grow as large as 13 feet and weigh more than 3,000 pounds. They move about slowly, often playfully with each other and even with us. Efforts to protect the manatee are working. 35 years ago, the number of manatees in our area was estimated at several hundred. Now there's several thousand. And because the protection plan is working, there's a new attempt to try and relax the rules and downlist the manatee from endangered to threatened. Wildlife officials fear the attempt is premature and could offset 30 years of conservation efforts.
We know the populations have increased, like in Crystal River and Blue Springs, but other areas of the state, that population has increased, but statistically it's a little too difficult to tell whether it's continuing to increase or whether it's decreasing.
Not only are the manatees being threatened by mankind, but Crystal River is itself. Civilization is crowding in around this river. The runoff water from the lawns of area homes, as well as the fertilizer from area farmlands, are threatening the pristine conditions of this precious commodity. From November through March, sanctuaries are set up in Crystal River where manatees can retreat from people during their winter-long stay. And though to the camera's eye the water appears pristine and clear, local dive shop operators see a different picture.
30 years ago, I could have took you out in the middle of the bay and I could flip the diamond in the water. When it hit the bottom, I could tell you if it's head or tails. Now you can take a silver dollar and you lose it.
Still, Crystal River is a popular attraction for snorkelers and divers, with small caverns for exploration and schools of mangrove snapper and tarpon, and of course the beloved manatee. Wildlife experts and environmental conservationists are sending out a warning, though, that we need to continue to protect both the gentle manatee and the delicate waters of Crystal River. After all, they say, they were here first, thousands of years before we moved in. This is their natural habitat, not ours. Just as wildlife workers trace the tracks of our manatees, there are scientists working underwater tracing the tracks of Florida's earliest residents. Tomorrow, a rare and exclusive look as underwater archaeologists find a gem under our own backyard. For ABC 7 News, I'm Ken Jefferson.